Yes, people, Manscaped is back, but this time it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of radiant settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.
Morning, people. Hope you're well. Welcome back to the Morning News Show, the news show that's brought to you Monday to Friday, around about 8:30 to 9 o'clock-ish. A little bit later this morning, had some tech issues this morning, but we're all good now. Lots of news to bring you this morning. It's going to be a lit show. I can feel it already. Big up to every single one of you for being here so early. Make sure you go check out the Arsenal Roundabout show last night with myself and Kenny. We're talking with Alex and Hooks, all about Arsenal. Upcoming game with Atalanta. Please make sure you go check out my team news as well that I would go for, my team selection for the Atalanta game. The show is previous to this one, so please make sure you go check out those two as well. Make sure you hit the like button if you've not done so already. If you're just joining, hit the like and subscribe button because they're the two buttons that are free. Make sure you hit those two. Please like, subscribe, and if you would like to join as a member, then you can do. So there we go. Listen, people, do me a favor. If you would like to show Manscaped some love, which you really do need to do, they are doing a deal at the moment, 20% off of the Beard Hedger, which is the beard trimmer. So if you would like a new beard or a beard hedger or trimmer or shaver, then please do head over to the link in the description, or you can click on the pinned comment here and click on Manscaped's beard and face section. Select the Beard Hedger, and you will find when you add it to your cart that you will get 20% off using that link. So please make sure you do that so they are aware that the 12th man community are supporting Manscaped. So big up to every single one of you. Once you've hit like and subscribe, we'll get into the news this morning. We're actually going to start with the Champions League because Champions League is back, as we all know. Before we go into that, massive thank you to everyone for being here this morning, but also for those of you that are in the chat room. Big up to Emerson this morning, Hyper, Franklin, Helsinki, James, who else is there? Kwame, Graham, DJ Ash, I hope you're well, bro. Mark, Reese, Kwame, and everybody else that's here that I haven't said hello to yet. Big up to every single one of you. And of course, to those that are watching on catch up and are in the chat but are not typing away. Big up to Suj, who says, big up, Dan. Hit the like and subscribe, people. Thank you so much, Suj. You're an absolute legend. You are a member of the channel. If you would like to become a member of the channel, all you need to do is hit the like and subscribe and hit join. Follow the instructions, and you can become a member and part of 12 Man's community. So we're going to now discuss the Champions League of last night. The results were a little bit mad. I can't lie to you. It was a bit crazy, particularly one completely shocked everybody. Well, I don't know if it did. Let's see what we think of it, shall we? The young boys, they hosted Aston Villa, who got off to an absolute flying start. 3-0 to Aston Villa. They are looking very good right now. Aston Villa are so excited to be back in the Champions League. I must say, Billy from this channel, who you all know, Aston Villa fan very, very well, was out there, took an away trip for the first time. His first ever Champions League game. He's only in his 20s, so of course he would not have seen Aston Villa back in Europe back in the day, but they are now back. And wow, back with a bang. Absolutely phenomenal from Aston Villa. I know it was only the young boys, but to be fair, going away is difficult anywhere in Europe. Absolutely. Big up to Igal, by the way. Make sure you do me a favor. Go follow Igal Talks Football. Big up to yourself last night. Was supposed to be on the show with us, but not well. So I hope you get well soon, my friend. Says that Real Madrid want Romero. Also, they can have Virgil van Dijk on a free. Wow. Listen, let's see what happens. We're going to talk about that because Real Madrid want everybody this morning, it seems. So let's see what happens there. Big up to you, Agal. Hope you're well, bro. So after Aston Villa in the early kickoff, it obviously started to kick off with AC Milan, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Zagreb, Real Madrid, and Stuttgart, and Sporting Lisbon, Lille. But before that, we had Juventus, who I haven't really heard much about this season. I don't know how they've started. I'm not sure who they have beaten in their league in Serie A. They're a team that I always expect to bounce back and haven't been able to for the last few years, but of course beat PSV quite comfortably, 3-1. Liverpool, everybody were all eyes on Arne Slot. The slot machine, had it gone bust or could it get repaired? Well, they certainly bounced back against AC Milan. Actually, after going 1-0 down within a few minutes of the game, quite comfortably beat them, and every time they went forward, they looked quite good from what I hear. A couple of set-piece goals as well from corners from both Konaté and Van Dijk. And then I think it was Gakpo who ended up sealing the 3-1. Then we moved to Bayern Munich. Oh, my goodness. 3-0 up. Zagreb come back 3-1, 3-2. And then Bayern Munich got pissed. And Vincent Kompany's side just destroyed them. Harry Kane with 4 goals. Phenomenal strikes from, I think it was Sane, Goretzka as well. 9-2. What happened to Zagreb? Once you get back into a game at 3-2, surely it should be the other side that feels nervy. But wow, Munich turned it on. Absolutely phenomenal, man. It really was. Real Madrid, Mbappe scoring 3-1 against Stuttgart. Stuttgart, who actually did do very well when they got their goal back. I thought actually they deserved it. But real talk, Real Madrid did the business. Rudiger getting the goal as well to get a victory. And Sporting Lisbon, I have tried to tell everybody that Victor Gyökeres needs to come to Arsenal. But what do I know? Nobody listens to me. What a phenomenal strike yet again. Something crazy now, like 7 or is it? It might even be 9 goals and assists in like little as 5 or 6 games. This guy is a machine. And at the moment is the closest in numbers than you can get to Haaland for me. So I think Victor Gyökeres needs to be an Arsenal player. If, of course, we can't get Alexander Isak because he's still my number 1. So let's see what happens. That's the Champions League. We did obviously have the League Cup, the Carabao Cup. We saw penalty shootouts between Preston and Fulham going to 16-15. I mean, that's got to be one of the longest. Someone actually do me a favour in the chat. Someone let me know what the longest penalty shootout tournament is. How many? It's crazy. Absolutely mad. So let me know what the stats are there before I have to look it up. Listen, there were some Carabao Cup games. Manchester United put 7 past Barnsley. Crystal Palace going through. Look, there was no massive shocks other than Everton lost again. Is that a massive shock? They did only lose on penalties to Southampton, but no massive shock there. And of course, Fulham and Preston were the only other one. Everyone else kind of went through. Brentford also. So Carabao Cup is back. Obviously, Arsenal will be playing Bolton in their Carabao Cup game, which is coming up very, very soon. And hopefully we take it seriously this season. That's what I hope anyway. What's this? Adam says 85 million in January or wait for Isak for 120 million. I say we go and get Gyökeres and then we go for Isak in the summer as well. And we get rid of Jesus, who seems to always be injured. But that apparently not many people are a fan of that. 9 goals and 12 with the national team. That's what Sammy's saying. That's ridiculous. Gyökeres is on fire. But we're not here to talk about Gyökeres. That's the Champions League. That's the Carabao Cup. Let's go to some of the transfer news this morning, which is a little bit crazy. Real Madrid, they want him. They want him. And they want him. It is crazy. Let's start with Trent, because Trent Alexander-Arnold has been wanted by Real Madrid for quite some time. And I remember in America when Cecil and Curtis went in to see what was the Real Madrid players. Mbappe was in there with them. And guess who else was with Jude Bellingham? Yes, Trent Alexander-Arnold. His contract is up after this season in the summer. In January, it looks like Real Madrid could knock on the door and have a chat with him about where he wants to go in terms of his future. But I do believe that Trent does love Liverpool and wants to stay at Liverpool. However, he will 100% be looking at the situation with Arne Slot and where Liverpool are. He'll be looking at the futures of Van Dijk, Alisson and Salah, as well as his own, and then make a decision. When Real Madrid come knocking, it is a different knock. And people have said to me quite a few times, are you worried about Saliba? They said yesterday to LB and me, are you worried about Saliba and Rodri? And every time I speak to Liverpool fans, they're all saying, yeah, we're worried about Trent Alexander-Arnold. Why? It would not matter if it was any other club. But Real Madrid's knock is very, very different. As Jude Bellingham has found out, as Luka Modric has found out, as Gareth Bale has found out, and all of the players they've had over the years, it is very difficult to say no to Real Madrid. And if Trent was to leave Liverpool, it would be absolutely criminal, as far as I'm concerned, by the Liverpool board, who have not offered him a contract yet, which is just scary. It's scarily bad how much I think that is a bad move from Liverpool's board. Trent Alexander-Arnold is a generational talent who is only 24, 25 years old. He's won everything in football already at that age, and he's an experienced lad. To lose him at just that age, wow, that would be very, very bad news for Liverpool. And unfortunately, it's one player along with others that are being mentioned. Now, Rodri at the moment is contracted at 28 years old until around about 2027, maybe 2028, something like that, I think, from what LB was saying. He's on a hell of a lot of money, and it looks as if we are going to have to potentially be putting these guys on crazy money. Now, Real Madrid are paying their midfielders and defenders £400,000. It means Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool, if they want to keep Saliba, Trent and Rodri, they're going to have to put them on 350, 400 plus a week. That is a lot of money. Now, Real Madrid can afford that. They can say, we'll put you on whatever you need. Rodri, would he go there? He's 28 years old. He's got the links previously at Athletic Madrid, who obviously are a massive rival. But Real Madrid, going back to Spain, I could see it. But when? Manchester City, I think, are confident of keeping him. What does that mean for William Saliba? Well, listen, he's got a contract now that we are going to be talking again in the summer, we believe. He's got a contract which is signed till 2027. We want to try to extend that as best we can and for as long as we can. I want to put it out there now. William Saliba will go to Real Madrid. I just hope it isn't this summer or the following summer. I have no doubt in my mind that by the time Saliba hits 27 and 28, he will either be at Real Madrid or going to Real Madrid. He's that good. They will go after him. They will. He's the best centre-back in world football, in my opinion, right now. There's nobody of his age doing what he's doing consistently. Part of the best defence in Europe right now. Individually, everything he does as a defender is phenomenal. I don't think we're going to be able to keep hold of Saliba forever. I just hope he's happy at the moment. He looks it. The only thing we're going to be able to do is win trophies. That's the only way we're going to keep hold of Saliba. Not only are we going to have to win trophies that are major honours, Champions League, Premier Leagues, FA Cups, etc. We've got to offer him a contract that he wants to sign, and it has to start around about 350 plus. And Arsenal have never been known, in the past anyway, to be put in at that. I personally believe there's potential for him to go. And I hope it isn't this summer. I really hope it isn't. I think there's potential for him to leave when he's around about 27, 28. At the moment, he's around 23, I think, Saliba. So I think we've got him for a few more years at the bare minimum. But for me, I do worry that one day he's going to be a Real Madrid player. I said that with Patrick Vieira years ago. I said it with Thierry Henry. They ended up leaving. Yeah, they ended up leaving at 28, but I'm hoping that's what happens with Saliba, is he doesn't leave in his early 20s and we can keep him. I really hope that he stays with Arsenal. And I hope that we can tempt him. I really do, with a new contract. So those three players, imagine if Real Madrid, on top of Bellingham and Mbappe, added Trent Alexander-Arnold, added Saliba, and added Rodri. My goodness, it would be phenomenal. I think Real Madrid would win everything. I mean, they're winning everything anyway, let's be real. In the last, 6 years, how many Champions Leagues they won? 4 of the last 6? Something crazy like that. Honestly, absolutely phenomenal from Real Madrid. So watch what happens here with these three players. It's going to be a real tough one for Arsenal to keep hold of Saliba. Tough for Man City to keep hold of Rodri, and tough for Liverpool to keep hold of Trent. Real Madrid are circling people. Let's hope and pray that Saliba wants to stay at Arsenal. Manchester City, moving segue to them. They are all over the Musiala signing. For the last couple of days, I've mentioned that Bayern Munich are struggling to convince him to sign a new deal. And it looks as if Manchester City are very confident that they can tempt Musiala to the club. He's 21 years old and he has lit up the German league. Also, for his country, he has been phenomenal. He would replace Kevin De Bruyne, and of course that is the player they expect to leave in the summer. Musiala is the one they want. I really hope they don't get him, because that would be a phenomenal replacement. Imagine having Foden and Musiala in your side. Wow, crazy. Let's talk about this guy, Karim Adeyemi. He's a player I think in front of goal does struggle, if I'm honest with you. He's a player that does definitely light up the league and has done very well with Dortmund, but in front of goal, I'm still not sure. The 22-year-old has been linked with Newcastle and Liverpool, as well as Manchester United in the last few days. And it looks as if there is definitely some competition for his signing. Maybe it's in January, maybe it's in the summer, but Dortmund are confident of keeping him for this season. And obviously those 3 Premier League clubs are very interested in him. So that could be quite an interesting one to look at. The other player to talk about is, of course, Angel Gomez. We spoke about Liverpool's interest yesterday and the day before. Well, it looks as if Newcastle are also a side that are interested in the 24-year-old, who is out of contract at the end of the season. He is probably going to come back to the Premier League. We all know that he started his career with Manchester United, gone over to Lille, and he has been brilliant. Lee Carsley has called him up to the England setup, and I was very, very impressed with both performances of him and Kobbie Mainoo in that position. And I think he could be very, very interesting in the coming season. Clearly wants to get a move back to the Premier League, Newcastle, Liverpool, and I think Manchester United were all sniffing around him as well. So let's see what happens there. Let's talk about this guy, shall we? Because he actually did come on and score a good goal yesterday for Bayern Munich. Goretzka is a player who at the moment West Ham and Manchester United are keen on. The 29-year-old Germany midfielder Goretzka is unhappy after losing his place at Bayern Munich. That's being reported this morning. And of course, when he is coming on, he's still doing the business, but clubs are circling. Now, Goretzka, in my opinion, was probably Bayern Munich's best player against Arsenal last season. He was a absolutely phenomenal talent, home and away against Arsenal in our midfield. He was dominating ours, right? He could do a real good job. I think he's a good player. I've always rated him. I've always liked him. I think he shows presence. I think he's got skill and technical ability. So let's see how interested clubs are. West Ham, let's be real, without being horrible, big up to Lawless. He can do better than West Ham. Maybe Manchester United is somewhere he fancies. A couple of Bayern Munich players being linked there. Obviously, De Ligt is there. Would Goretzka follow? Well, another Bayern Munich player that's looking very, very much like he is showing a lot of interest from clubs is, of course, Leroy Sané. Now, it sounds as though Arsenal and Newcastle could make moves for the Germany winger, Leroy Sané. He's 28 years old. He's reportedly also unhappy at Bayern Munich. Now, what is going on there? It looks to me as if there's players that are looking and wanting out of Bayern Munich. Maybe Goretzka feels he can't hold down a first-team place. Maybe Leroy Sané is not happy that Elise has joined, but he did score last night. And he did come on and do well, and he has done well for the last few years. I'm not sure that I can see this one happening. I kind of feel like that ship has sailed with Arsenal, but watch this space. In the summer, there's reports that we do want a winger, but I think it's Nico Williams, the one we're after. So let's see where we go here. Real Madrid are also after Christian Romero and Virgil van Dijk's potential for a free transfer this summer. That's according to reports who also are looking at Saliba. Now, Real Madrid were looking at Lenny Yoro, and I was really hoping they would go for him. I would absolutely love them to get Christian Romero as well. That means that they might not go for Saliba. They've still got Militiao, they've still got David Alaba, and of course they've still got Rudiger. Do they need Saliba? Well, everyone needs Saliba, let's be real. They probably need Saliba less if they went and got their targets first. So let's pray that they can do that. My thing is, why the hell do they want him? That's what I will say. One of the players that is linked with a move to Arsenal that is currently out of contract this summer is the Canadian striker Jonathan David, 24 years old. I thought he was a hell of a lot older than that. He's entering the final year of his contract with Lille, and Arsenal are keeping tags on him. Now, it looks like Arsenal are definitely going for a striker in the summer. A lot of reports suggesting that Arsenal are looking for that player. They have not found him yet. Is it Isak? Is it Gyökeres? Or is it Jonathan David? Well, I hope it is one of the latter, if I'm one of the former, if I'm honest, because I do not personally believe Jonathan David is at that level. But what do I know? Moving on to some Arsenal news, nicely and segueing in. This guy scored last night for Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup and apparently had a very good performance. So Eddie Nketiah, what is he going to do at Crystal Palace? By the way, I love that kit. That is an absolutely superb football shirt this season. Probably my favourite this season. I've got to say that. But what's Eddie going to do? He's going to play alongside or instead of Mateta. He's definitely upgraded on Jordan Ayew as far as Crystal Palace are concerned. I've spoken to Palace fans like Dee, like Rich, like others I speak to, and they're really happy with the signing of Eddie Nketiah. They think he's done well. They're happy with him. They think he can grow into being one of their better strikers. So when you look at it, he's come on and done the business. He's come on and done well. He's now come on and scored. Let's see what future he holds for Eddie Nketiah at Selhurst Park. And can he get on the score sheet regularly now? It is the competition where he always scores. The League Cup is where he always used to score for Arsenal. I remember him scoring hat-tricks. I remember him scoring loads of goals. Hat-trick against Sunderland, goals against any of the opposition below it. I thought he was good in that competition. And it looks like he is continuing that with Crystal Palace. Let's take a look at another player who scored last night for Fulham, Reiss Nelson. Now, obviously, they were dumped out on penalties 15-16 by Preston, but Reiss Nelson got them back into the game and was the reason that Fulham could have a chance of going through on penalties. A really disappointing result for them. They would have wanted to go through, I am sure, but they're out now and can concentrate on the league. I do not understand why clubs of Fulham, West Ham, Everton, Palace, Brentford don't go all out for the Carabao or FA Cup. They know they're safe. They know they're not going down. Fulham, Palace, West Ham, Brentford, they are not going down this season. Why do they not concentrate more on the domestic cups? That's surely what their aim should be every season. If I'm a Fulham fan, I am wanting to go and win the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup over securing 10th place. I couldn't give a damn if I finished 8th to 15th. Give me an FA Cup. If you said to me you're going to finish 8th and win nothing, or 15th and win an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup, I'm taking the trophy. I don't understand this. Oh my God, we've got to get as close to that league, up the league table as we can. Madness. Absolutely madness as far as I'm concerned. And I don't actually think there's that much money difference in it either. I really don't. So let's see what happens there. Let's talk about this guy, shall we? I love this picture. Absolutely phenomenal. According to Charles Watts, Arsenal have started the process of trying to extend Gabriel Magalhaes' contract. However, discussions are still at an early stage. So it looks as if Arsenal are trying to secure the future of Gabriel. Now, this one's really interesting to me because for me personally, there's a lot of people that have suggested that Calafiori is actually going to be taking his place and him and Saliba will be the future of Arsenal's centre-back pairings. I totally disagree with that. I think Calafiori's been brought in definitely as a future of Arsenal's defence. I don't think there's any doubt about that due to his age. But I look at Gabriel at the age of 27 now, and I don't look at him and think, wow, you're getting old. Well, if he was 33, 31 even 30, I'd say, yeah, do you know what? Calafiori's come in, and one day in the next season or two, Calafiori and Saliba will be in a partnership. But I think at 27 and 23, Gabriel and Saliba, the partnership's phenomenal. I'll be more than happy to keep that for another 2 seasons at the very least until Gabriel is touching 30. And then we can look at where Calafiori's at. Calafiori hasn't even kicked a ball for Arsenal yet. I just think it's really disrespectful for those Arsenal fans that are believing that now we need to dump off Gabriel, get Calafiori and Saliba in there. Like, we actually have to grow a team, not just keep replacing all these youngsters all the time. Like, we've formed a partnership now with Gabriel and Saliba that's probably one of the best in Europe. In my opinion, it is the best centre-back partnership. I don't really believe that we should be now chucking Gabriel out, who's just won us the North London derby, and saying, do you know what? Let's actually get Calafiori in now and we'll dump Gabriel off. Now, I had no doubt that last summer there was something going on with Saudi League. I had no doubt that his head was turned. That was why he was dropped for the first few games. There's no other question for it. But Gabriel needs to play alongside Saliba in every single game available. And I have said that I would go as far as resting both of them on Thursday night. That's mad, isn't it? Yeah, it's crazy you're shouting at the screen. Oh, my God, both of them dropped. Keep them fresh for that weekend because Saliba or Gabriel go down Thursday night. Boy, is it going to be tough against Haaland on Sunday with Kivior or one of the other guys. With Calafiori not fit, with Tomiyasu out, with Zinchenko still out, and Timber back from fitness having to play left back. I don't want either of those two coming down, man. I really don't. So I would be playing personally a centre-back pairing of Kivior and Timber, or if Calafiori's fit, maybe you look at that. But for me, I do not want to be seeing either of those two get injured, man, at all. Okay, let's talk next about this because this last night was shown on the show, but I'm going to show it again. This is the Arsenal team. It's a very blurry picture because it's one that I was sent on WhatsApp that I put up here. But trust me, it's great, isn't it, to see everybody. Kieran Tierney even in that picture. But what can we see here that is a bit of a mystery? Something that I saw and spotted last night and was pointed out to me. No, it's not new players. No, it's not who the hell's that. It's actually what the hell is going on with Martin Odegaard's boot and why is it being covered up by a football? That left boot is clearly swollen. It is clearly ballooned. There's clearly something wrong with it. He's either got a boot on or something, but there is a mystery there. The football is covering it, people. Why is that? His ankle has rolled. Is there tendon damage? Is there Achilles damage? Is there ligament damage? Is there a fracture? We still don't know. At the moment, Mikel Arteta is keeping it quiet. Why is that? Is it a surprise? Is it, oh my God, he's going to be back soon? Or is it, oh dear, it's bad news and it's going to be a while? He is definitely wearing a support there. And I think that is why they're covering it up with a football. So very, very sneaky by Arsenal there. Very, very interesting to see what the news is on Martin Odegaard and how long he is out for. Every time Mikel Arteta is asked about this question, he just says, we're not sure yet. He knows. He knows, and I'm sure it is not good news. But I have said it. I have accepted that Arsenal will see Marino and Odegaard return in the international break, which is around about November. That's what I'm expecting to see both of them. We saw now that Marino has no longer got his sling on. He's no longer got his cast on. Obviously, Odegaard, I imagine, has got some form of boot on. But when I look at Martin Odegaard, I just feel that injury as definitely keeping him out for a while. I'm not sure if it's ligament damage, if it's fracture, if it's tendon. I don't know what is actually happening with him. But if it's just bruising and there's no ligament damage, there's no break, there's no tendon problem, I expect to see him back in the next couple of weeks. But if it is bad news, like I think it might be, I expect to see around about November time, Odegaard and Marino. And we're going to need them both for that. Because at the end of October, we've got Liverpool at home. At the start of November, we've got Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, Inter Milan away, Chelsea away. If they can come back for those run of games, we're going to need them big time. The question mark, of course, at the moment is where the hell is Odegaard's replacement? It ain't Vieira and Smith Rowe anymore. It looks like it's Ethan Nwaneri, or they play Trossard or Havertz there, or they play Sterling there. Let me know in the chat, who is Odegaard's replacement for you? Who plays in that number 10 position when Odegaard is out? Just put a name in the chat. Sterling, Trossard, Nwaneri, Havertz, somebody else. Because Hooks last night made a great point. He would play Jesus there. Jesus is not a number 9. Jesus can play wide. He can play with 9, but he's not a goal scorer. He is one of the best to lead from the press. He is one of the best to link up play. He is one of the best when it comes to driving on the football. And he's got technical ability and can twist and turn anyone inside out. That would not be a bad shout for me. But I would actually play on Thursday night Ethan Nwaneri. We've been told he's ready. We've been told he's good enough. We've been told at 17, it don't matter if you're good enough, you're old enough. I would 100% like to see Ethan Nwaneri start on Thursday. And people might laugh at that. But I've seen enough now to know this guy's ready. And he might not be ready to play 90 minutes, but he's certainly ready to start and come off at half time or come off in the 60th minute, in my opinion. Maybe he's ready to start and come on in the second half, or maybe even play 50, come on the 50th minute mark. But I personally feel like Ethan should be given the nod now, because we have been told that we don't need to replace Vieira or Smith Rowe because we've got Ethan. So Ethan's got to get given a chance now. That's the way I see it. Do me a favour. A lot of people saying in the chat, Nwaneri. A lot of people saying give Ethan a shout. A lot of people saying Havertz. Some people saying Sterling and Trossard. Listen, there's a lot of options for Mikel Arteta in this position, right? I said that we needed Eze in the summer. I said we needed him. I wanted Eze. And I honestly believe that Arsenal are an Eze and potentially Gyökeres signing away from having a 9 out of 10 window. When you add Calafiori and Marino to that, and obviously Sterling coming in, I actually think that, along with a backup goalkeeper, is a phenomenal transfer window if you add Eze and Gyökeres to it. I think Eze is a baller. I think he can play in a number of positions. I think the versatility is key for what Arteta wants, and I thought he would have been brilliant for us. Playing in the number 10, playing in the left attacking 8, playing at left or right wing, I think Eze would have been a baller. And maybe we'd look at that in the summer, I don't know. For me, we need to replace quite a few players this summer. It's mad to be thinking about this already. It really is. But I think we need to start now, Edu and Richard Garlick. Arteta, concentrate what you got. Don't even think about the summer or January. But I actually think Edu and Richard Garlick need to look at the future of Arsenal right now. And I'll tell you why. I'll close on this. I think there's quite a few players that might be leaving Arsenal in the summer. I'm not talking about ones that we're going to be crying about. I'm talking about players that perhaps need to look at their future elsewhere, perhaps aren't getting in the first team, or actually, perhaps Arsenal need to sell because they're bloody injured all the time. So I go through the back line right the way through now, and I think there's probably 8 players that could leave Arsenal. I think. Potentially. And I'm talking about players such as Tomiyasu, Kieran Tierney, Zinchenko, Kivior. Maybe Jorginho and Partey aren't going to extend. Maybe we're looking at Vieira going. Maybe we're looking at Raheem Sterling's future and saying maybe it isn't at Arsenal. And maybe we're looking at Gabriel Jesus because he's injured. That's 8, 9 players we're talking about there that all have a potential future up for grabs. You might not want to sell all of them. You might say, what are you talking about? You're a madman selling all them. But when you look at it, some of them you wouldn't actually be bothered about if they went, would you? You wouldn't be crying about it. If Tomiyasu and Jesus went, you wouldn't be sitting there going, oh my God, I can't believe it. How are we going to replace them? They're always injured anyway. I'm looking at the injury-prone players and I'm thinking, you've got this season to prove you can stay fit. Otherwise, I'm getting rid of you. Zinchenko's another one. Calf injury out of nowhere. Where has that come from? Tomiyasu, we've not yet to see him. We were told he was going to miss 2 weeks of pre-season. He hasn't even come back. And no one knows where he is. So, look, there's potentially all 8, 9 of those players, futures up for grabs. I'm not saying all 8 players are going to leave, by the way. I'm saying that their futures could be either need to be decided or we need to get rid of them. Kieran Tierney has not got no future at the club. Kivior's going to want to leave. He wanted to leave this summer, but we had to keep him because we had no cover. He wants first-team football, otherwise he wants out. Zinchenko's injury problems are a concern alongside Tomiyasu's. Jorginho and Partey's contracts are up. Sterling has not got a chance of staying here unless he has a brilliant season. Jesus, his future is going to be up for grabs if we go and buy another striker. Let's just be realistic about it. Fabio Vieira, he's going to be up for grabs. Obviously, Lokonga and Savage and all these guys are going to be going as well on top of that. But I look at it and I think to the future, yeah, actually, we need another big summer coming up. And now I think Arsenal are at that stage where we don't need 6 players because we're starting again. We need 6 players because we're replacing and upgrading every summer. Now, Manchester City have got themselves into a position ahead of us where they just need 2 or 3 players every summer. And Arsenal could be there, don't get me wrong. We're not going to sell 8 and buy 8, right? That's not how it's going to work. But I look at what Arsenal could do in this summer and January transfer window, and I still look at positions where I think, yeah, you can strengthen there. I think, yeah, Nico Williams should be coming to Arsenal. Isak should be coming to Arsenal, or Gyökeres. We should be looking at Eze in the number 10 position to replace Fabi Vieira and Smith Rowe. We've got to look at somebody like Bruno Gomares in the middle if Jorginho and Partey are both leaving. We might have to look at the back and go, what happens if Saliba gets cropped? We might need another big beastie centre-half like a Diamande from Sporting Lisbon. We might need these positions. People might not go, oh my God, I don't want him to drop him. I don't want him to. We need players. We need players. And at the moment, when everybody's fit, we've actually got quite a good substitutes bench. We actually have. If you look at everybody being fit, our subs bench could consist of Jesus, Sterling, Trossard, Wanyeri, Jorginho, Partey, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, Calafiori, and obviously Neto. That's 10 players there that are all backing up. When everyone's fit, we're cool. Yeah, we haven't mentioned Lewis Skelly. We haven't mentioned potentially some of the others that you might be screaming at through the screen. But we've actually got all right squad depth. But we need more. We need more. This is the season to go and prove that we've got a good squad. We need to be taking all 4 competitions seriously. We need to be. And that's why I don't mind him rotating on Thursday. I really don't. If he rotates on Thursday, I really don't care. People say to me, no, you can't. You got to go strong. It's a Champions League. We might lose to Atlanta. Do you know what? We might. But I don't care what that result is because I care about Sunday. I'm not saying chuck the Atlanta game. I'm saying go into it with the winning mentality that we're going to beat them. I think the second team can still beat them. They're a good side, but I still fancy our chances with the likes of Jesus, Sterling, Martinelli, Wanyeri, Rice back, Jorginho, obviously Calafiori if he's back fit, Timber. We're going to have these guys playing still, right? So I personally would heavily rotate on Thursday. I would. And then everyone's fresh for Sunday. We know what the team's going to be Sunday. It's going to be the same team that played against Tottenham or White Hart Lane, but it's obviously going to be Rice instead of Jorginho, right? So it's going to be Rayo, White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Timber. It's going to be Rice, Partey, and I think Trossard. And then it's going to be Saka, Martinelli, and Havertz. With Jesus to come on from the bench as well as Raheem Sterling. So for me, bringing on Jesus and Sterling against Manchester City, yeah, maybe that's 2 pretty good subs. So our squad is getting there. But we absolutely need to do what I think is keep players fit. So that's where I'm at. Listen, people, we're going to leave it there this morning. Big up to all of you. There's 350 of you in here. Please make sure you do me a favor and hit the like button. Please make sure you've hit subscribe. At the moment, we have got nowhere near enough likes. We've only got 77. I haven't even hit 100 likes, guys. Come on. Hit the like button. It's absolutely free, please. And also hit subscribe because it's absolutely free as well. Once those 2 buttons are hit, thank you all so much. Do me a favor. I've got unbelievable content coming up for you today at 1 p.m. It's going to be myself and Chris Hudson talking about all things Arsenal, looking forward to the Atlanta and, of course, Manchester City game. And then this evening at 7 p.m., it is one to hit your notification bell for. You do not want to miss this. This is London is back tonight at 7 p.m. before the Champions League games. Myself, Dan Lawless, D, Gunali, Don, and you've guessed it. It's Deji, and it's another cooking session for Deji the Spurs fan. Big up to every single one of you. Make sure you do me a favor, hit the like on the way out. We'll see you next time. Take care. Make sure you show Manscaped some love, and I'll see you at 1 p.m. Take care, people.